This is Tim from Organic Backyard Gardening. For years, I've been using only 100% compost in my garden and have had super healthy plants with excellent yields. I make compost in a simple compost bin made from free materials. In this quick video, you'll learn why composting is important and how to do it, differences between a bin versus a tumbler, how to make a compost bin with free materials, and tips I've learned along the way. Composting should be at the center of every garden. Right here in my backyard on the forest floor, composting is taking place every day. Leaves, pine needles, twigs are all being broken down by microorganisms and turning into rich, nutrient-filled humus to feed and grow new plant life. In your garden, every time you grow a vegetable, nutrients are being taken out of the soil. You always want to give back more to the soil than you take out. You want to keep a positive balance. The way to do this is to feed the soil by adding nutrients, thus compost. Many people feed their plants synthetic fertilizers or organic water-soluble fertilizers. These only provide short-term gains. If the soil is never fed, it will eventually become depleted. Crops will be starved and always be dependent on fertilizers. But what is needed to make compost? Well, you need green material, nitrogen, brown material, carbons. You need water, air, and microorganisms. Nitrogens can consist of grass clippings, weeds, flowers, coffee grounds, kitchen waste, garden waste. And the brown material can consist of things like dry leaves, hay, twigs. Things that you don't want to compost are meat, fish, bread, dairy. They may attract rodents and smell. You don't want to really compost anything that's like heavy coated paper. Or large branches, those just won't break down. You can look online for other things that you definitely don't want to compost. Now that we've talked about the components of composting, how does the process take place? How do all these things break down? Well, there's two different ways. There's either a hot pile or a cold pile. So a hot pile is when you have enough material on hand to make one big pile, and you typically use 2 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. So you put everything into a pile, and then anywhere from 24 to 36 hours after, it'll start to heat up. It'll get up anywhere from 141 degrees to 155 degrees. And it'll stay there for several days or weeks. And you can measure this with a thermometer. I'll put a link below. You can turn it as the temperature goes down. You can turn it to keep the reaction taking place. And the good thing about this is it kills weed seeds, if you have weed seeds in there. Yes, I want to show you guys something. See it smoking?
Yeah.
It's hot in there.
Hot in there?
Yeah, and you smell it? Now, a cold pile decays over time. You add small amounts and continue adding to the pile. Now, this may take about a year, as where to a hot composting pile will take maybe months. Now, this won't kill the weed seeds. However, if you're mulching the garden bed after putting the compost down, you really don't have to worry about the weed seeds growing. There are some products on the market you can buy called compost starters. These have microbes and nitrogen in them. I've never used them. I don't think it's worth the cost. And something I do when I start my compost, I will take garden soil and throw it into the new pile to make sure that I have the microbes there. What are some of the key differences between bins versus tumblers? Well, tumblers make it easy to mix the compost. You can mix it by hand right on the tumbler. That speeds up the composting time. You can also easily access the finished compost, and they look a little more neat in some of the residential areas. However, they are quite expensive. Now, with a compost bin, they may be a little more difficult to turn the pile over. You may have to use a pitchfork, but they are much cheaper, and you can easily make them from recycled material, which I'll show you in a few minutes. If you're finding this video helpful, please click the like button below and click subscribe. So how do I compost, and how did I build my compost bin? Well, I first started off by checking Craigslist for free pallets in the free section. And there were a lot of listings, and I went out and I grabbed a bunch of pallets. The design I came up with was a 2-bin system. I wanted one bin that I could put all my material in and let it decompose over time, and have another bay that I could put all my finished compost in to easily access it for the garden. The left side consists of 4 pallets, and the front pallet is cut in half, and it has a hinge so you can easily move the door to the open and close position and easily get in and turn the compost with the pitchfork. On the right side for the finished compost, I attached 2 more pallets, and I removed the lats and position them very close together at the bottom sections to make sure that none of the finished compost would fall out of the open sections. I simply screwed all of the pallets together in place. Some designs I saw online, you can put netting on the inside of the pallet so material doesn't fall out, but I haven't really had that problem. Many people overcomplicate composting and don't know how to get started. And the best advice I have is to create a simple plan. And what I'd recommend is to build your bin or get a tumbler. Start collecting material near the bin. I like to collect garden scraps in a 5-gallon pail on my deck with a cover. After the last harvest in the fall time, take all your garden waste and put it near the bin. Collect dead leaves. I like to run my mower over the leaves and shred them up. Once you have enough brown and greens, remember you need 2 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen, build the pile. It'll heat up. Then don't add to it. Let it finish. It'll finish within several months. It could even take up to a year. But in the meantime, create another pile nearby so you can continue adding to that pile. Once that second pile is big enough, let it be. So to quickly recap, each time you grow something in your garden, you're taking out nutrients. You have to make sure you're keeping a balance in your garden and always feeding the soil, not the plants. By using compost in the garden, you'll be giving the plants all of the nutrients they need. And you can do this 2 ways. You can use a bin or you can use a tumbler. Really, anything to keep the material in a pile. You need to use 2 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. You can hot compost if you have enough material on hand, which is quicker, or you can cool compost, which takes longer. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you're notified when we post new videos. If you have any questions or comments, post them below. I try to get back to everyone. Thanks for watching.